Could Atlantis have existed? It's one of those hotly debated questions, and like most contentious topics, the answer is both yes and no. Starting with the no first, there couldn't have been a large island in the Atlantic that sank below the waves, had a comparable level of technology to modern times. The Atlantic is generally too deep to have a recent large human occupation that was then swamped by the sea. It does have several small islands which could have sustained a small human population with them wiped out. However, these islands have been fairly well studied, and no evidence of ancient populations has been found in the archaeology. The possibility of an ancient society that also had some very advanced technology is also equally flawed for two reasons. Firstly, human knowledge doesn't suddenly spark into place. Each advance is based upon several lower level technology being acquired before the new one can be discovered or invented. You can't suddenly invent a microscope. First you need quality glass production, then lens grinding, and a range of other technologies first. All this requires a stable society to progress quickly. You need a fairly substantial population. The island in the Atlantic wouldn't have had the time or space that is required. The other issue is that humans are generally great at copying. And if people from Atlantis interacted with the rest of the world's population, they would have found that their technology would have been copied or imitated by the rest of the world. That covers the no part of Atlantis. What about the yes? Well, rather than looking to the deep Atlantic, there is a possibility in the North Sea, an area the east coast of the United Kingdom. The northern part of the North Sea, getting towards Norway, is about 700 metres deep. There is an area called the Southern Bight, which is basically between England and Belgium, where the water is less than 40 metres deep, and even shallower a little further north in what's called Dogger Bank. However, the area hasn't always been underwater. During the last ice age, enormous amounts of water were trapped in the ice, meant that the sea levels were significantly lower than they are today, which in turn meant the areas of the Southern Bight and Dogger Bank were actually above the water, either for completing a whole land bridge between England and Europe, or a substantial area of islands, possibly covering an area of up to 100,000 square miles. This area would have made an ideal place to establish a civilization, especially due to the amount of fish that could be caught. With boats for fishing and possibly trading with nearby locations, it's possible these people could have seemed more advanced than their late neighbours. However, the period that this Atlantis would have occupied would have been anywhere between 20,000 years ago until about 7,000 years ago, at which point the melting of the ice caused the oceans to rise and the whole area becoming submerged by the rising water. Now, the Atlanteans, being better fed than their neighbours, would have been taller. They could have had bone-tipped spears made from fish. Other tools and decorations could be made from walrus tusks and reindeer horns. They even used nets to help them catch the fish. All these things, along with pottery, ropes, domesticated dogs, could have made these people seem like some vastly superior beings to the locals. And when the civilization sank beneath the rising waters, people were scattered to the UK and to mainland Europe. All that would have been left but a few fireside tales of a forgotten race of people. Or at least, that's one possibility. It may, of course, just been a myth.